Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. School divisions are one of the areas in the recent provincial budget which saw spending cuts. The education sector received an increase of 0.5% in operating funds across the board. As the temperatures heat up for another summer season, skin safety should be top of mind for all ages. As the 2016 municipal election approaches, preparations are taking place behind the scenes for a smooth process for voters and those choosing to run for Swift Current City Council. Thanks for joining us here today. The Chinook School Division is fine-tuning its plans for the coming year, following a funding shortfall from the province. School divisions are one of the areas in the recent provincial budget which saw spending cuts. The education sector received an increase of 0.5% in operating funds across the board. Here in the Southwest, the Chinook School Division received a total of $82.44 million, which results in a $1.7 million decrease in funding, and further spurring an operational deficit of $3.6 million, forcing Chinook to make some adjustments for the coming year.
At the same time, there's also an upcoming 1.9% increase to teacher salaries that wasn't covered either. Past practice has been that usually teacher salary increases, because they're negotiated at the provincial level, are covered by the province. So that really has put us behind the eight ball in terms of trying to balance the budget. What we have done is we've managed to find $1 million ourselves through attrition and some administrative savings and efficiencies internally. And so the remainder that is there, the board has committed to looking at the use of reserve funding for this 1 year only. Basically, it buys us a year to then use the 16-17 year to look at staffing at all levels, including central office. Jufu adds that Chinook will have to assess how it can maintain quality education for students into the future on a tighter operating budget, with no discussion at this point in time of any school closures. You know, we recognize that administration has to be part of this look at tightening our belts. But in our budgets, administration accounts for roughly 3 to 4% of the entire budget. We have over 86% of our budget is tied up with personnel and facilities. And so it's going to be very difficult to balance budget without having a look at facilities and personnel. But there has been no directive from the board to look at school closure in any way that's different from what our policy currently suggests. And despite the shortfall in operating funds from the province for the coming year, the expansion of classrooms at École Centennial will proceed as planned, thanks to the $1.3 million already allocated by the Ministry of Education. Fortunately, that one came in under the wire and work had already progressed, and you will see, likely within the next week or two, you'll see machinery and coming on site and some fencing going up. The Chinook School Division is the second largest in the province, employing 1,000 staff and encompassing approximately 6,000 students across the Southwest. Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Proudly presented by the City of Swift Current and Standard Motors, along with Innovation Credit Union and Southwest TV News. As we make our way through another hot summer season, health officials are again reminding you to wear sunscreen and a hat. As the temperatures heat up for another summer season, skin safety should be top of mind for all ages. Whether you're out for a leisurely walk or a day at the beach, protecting yourself from the sun should always be a top priority. According to the Canadian Cancer Society, skin cancer is the most common of all cancers in Canada, with close to 7,000 cases of malignant melanoma diagnosed each year. Skin cancer is also the most preventable of all cancers,
And it starts with sunscreen.
Slopping on some SPF 30 sunscreen is really important, making sure that it's broad spectrum and water resistant if possible, to make sure that it blocks out the UVA and B rays that may be harmful to our skin. The other tip is to apply sunscreen about 20 minutes before we go outside, because it takes some time for the sunscreen to fully absorb. And not only that, but to reapply, so every 2 hours. But read the instructions on the bottle, because it may vary from sunscreen to sunscreen. Also check the expiry date, because if it is expired, then you may want to toss that out and grab a new one.
And there are several other ways to protect yourself from the sun's burning UV rays, including knowing what the UV index is for the day.
Typically, it's when the UV is 3 or higher is when we want to slip on some clothing that covers our skin, slap on some sunscreen, slap on that hat, seek shade, and slide on those sunglasses. Also, if it's between the hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., that's typically when the sun is at its strongest. The UV would be really strong.
More information on sun safety and skin cancer can all be found online. The countdown is on to the 2016 municipal election, and the City of Swift Current has announced a number of new changes. As the 2016 municipal election approaches, preparations are taking place behind the scenes for a smooth process for voters and those choosing to run for Swift Current City Council. At the recent council meeting, a notice of motion was given to introduce a mail-in ballot bylaw prior to the October 26th election, a new concept for Swift Current.
The mail-in ballot option was an option in 2012, but it had yet to be tested, so we let the larger cities test it. And we wanted to make sure that the person coming in to get the ballot was signing and registering. It was, in fact, that person. So we're reaching out to people that can't make it on advanced poll days or the day of the election or are homebound.
A notice of motion for a criminal record check for all election candidates was also presented to Council and will be up for further discussion.
We want the candidates to be accountable. We want our electors to be able to ask the candidates, and it's just part of the process and will become part of the nomination, but if it's voted on.
If someone does have a criminal record, will it exclude them then automatically
Absolutely
from running?
not. Absolutely not. And all it will say when it comes back from the police station is that they may have a criminal record.
Candidates wishing to run for a position on Swift Current City Council can find all of the necessary paperwork online through the city's website or on the Queen's printer. Candidates must be 18 years of age, a Canadian resident, have lived at least 3 months in Swift Current, and 6 months in Saskatchewan. Further details on the 2016 municipal election will be announced in the coming months, leading up to Election Day on October 26th. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.